Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, we got a shit ton of Thomas stuff to look at today. So basically a while back, I did a poll asking you guys if you would like to see videos of basically the Thomas stuff that I find from thrift stores, because if you didn't know, a lot of the stuff that I get for my collection or for my customs comes from thrift stores, because first of all, it's really cheap to get them from thrift stores, and second of all, I don't like shopping on eBay because eBay prices are insane. So the items that you're gonna see in this video is an accumulation of about a month of going to thrift stores. So yeah, obviously most of the stuff here will be Trackmaster. Trackmaster is the main Thomas range I collect because Trackmaster is the best. So the first item we'll be taking a look at is this Trackmaster 2 Emily. Really not much to say, it is a stock standard Trackmaster 2 Emily. Never really bothered getting her when they still sold these things because this is probably one of the worst Trackmaster items ever made. I mean, I think it really kind of just speaks for itself. I have one now, and it's in pretty good condition. Only stickers on this item are the windows. For some reason, only Thomas and Emily got window stickers, at least in Trackmaster 2. Not too sure why, but they did. Wasn't able to get a tender, but I do actually have a spare Trackmaster 2 Emily tender that I got a while ago from another thrift store, so I can put it with this engine, and I have a complete Trackmaster 2 Emily. So yeah, really not much to say. It's a Trackmaster 2 Emily. Let's move on to the next item. Alright, so the next item is also nothing really too special. Here is a 2010 re-release of Thomas. Pretty common variation of Thomas, not my favorite, just not really a big fan of how long they made him in this variation. A little bit of paint missing on the buffers there, and it is missing a side rod, but I can replace that. This will just be turned into a custom, honestly. The window sticker is not in the best condition. Also a bit of paint missing on the roof. Really not much to say, it's just a 2010 re-release of Thomas. Nothing too special. On to the next item. Alright, so the next item is definitely going to upset most of the Thomas fandom, but here we have an All Engines Go motorized Percy. Believe it or not, this is actually not the first All Engines Go motorized Percy I've found at a thrift store. This is actually the third one. The first one being a Party Train Percy, the second one being a Big Friends release of Percy, and the third one, which is the one you see right here, also being a Big Friends release of Percy. Really not much to say. It's in basically mint condition. Very surprising to see one of these, considering these are pretty new still. Probably gonna turn it into a custom of Secret Agent Percy, since Mattel made a model of Secret Agent Thomas. It's an All Engines Go Percy. It's pretty nice. Alright, so the next item is one of the two items that are not Trackmaster related, and it is a wooden railway item. It is a wooden railway duck. So usually I buy wooden railway things mainly just to resell. I can make money to basically buy more Trackmaster stuff. I am not really a big fan of wooden railway. There's really not much I can really say. It's not in the greatest condition. This like big chip right here, but yeah, I just again, I don't know, it's wooden railway. Weird design choices, like why does he have two domes? Or is that meant to be his funnel? It's not very clear because it's green, and it's like right here, like I don't get it. I don't understand wooden railway a lot of the times. Wooden railway has really weird design choices and pretty ugly design choices, not gonna lie, but yeah, we're not really here to talk about wooden railway. I just thought, you know, hey, why not? I'll just show it off. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to the next item. Alright, so the next item is a 2012 re-release of Thomas by Mattel. So yeah, this is honestly probably the worst variation of Thomas, at least in terms of standard releases. No, I will never understand why Mattel decided to make this version of Thomas so bulky. Like, it looks like shit. The boiler bands, the stripes are so thick. It has this hole here? Why? No lining around the cab windows? The sticker's in pretty good condition. It has this face that looks literally nothing like Thomas. I mean, the previous version of Thomas literally had a better face. It wasn't great, but it was better than this. Like, what is this? What? I also got rid of the tail lamp on the back of him. At least in my opinion, the worst like standard release of like standard version of Thomas. I'm not a big fan of the 2012 re-release of Thomas, but it is one of the more harder versions of Thomas to come across. I've only ever really come across like a couple of these, so they are a little more harder to get, but still, it's not rare. It's a version of Thomas, who cares? Anyway, let's see the next item. Alright, so the next item is... wow! Another Thomas! What a surprise! I was able to get another 2010 re-release of Thomas. This one is in way better condition, as it actually has both side rods, and also not to mention that the paint is, you know, very nice on this one. A bit of paint missing on the eyebrow and the front buffers, but honestly, aside from that, it's in pretty good condition. Again, like I said, not my favorite version of Thomas. Just not a big fan of how long they made him. It's way better than the shitty 2012 version, so I'll give credit where credit is due. It's a stock standard Thomas. Moving on. If you thought the last item was generic, well, here's an even more generic item. A stock standard Trackmaster 2 Thomas. Wow, so exciting. Yeah, without a doubt, this has to be like the most common Trackmaster item like I find at thrift stores, which does make sense. I mean, this version of Thomas was sold for like, what, like 8 years, I think? Which is a very long time. You know, like they did a couple minor changes throughout the years to this version of Thomas, but it more or less stayed the same. Yeah, really not much to say, but I do actually prefer this version of Thomas to the 2012 Thomas and the 2010 Thomas. Some people may disagree with me because it's a Trackmaster 2 item, but personally the way I see it is, like, honestly, Trackmaster 2 is way too overhated, at least in my opinion, considering it's more or less the same thing that came before it. So, the sticker is a little messed up. This is the older release from like 2014 to 2016. You can tell because it has really nice printing. The printing that they used for the Thomas Minis, where it looks really blurry and it looks like it was made on like Microsoft Paint. I think it's a pretty solid version of Thomas. Definitely better than the previous two versions we saw. So yeah, but again, not much to say. It's a Trackmaster 2 Thomas. It's worth like, I don't know, like nothing. So, moving on to the next item. Alright, so we're down to our last two items for this video, and I will save the best one for last. Both of these items came in the same bag, so we'll take a look at the first item, which is another Wooden Railway item, and it is the Thomas Wooden Railway Big City Engine. So, considering I'm not a Wooden Railway collector, I am actually pretty happy to have this item, because I would love to use the face for a Trackmaster custom of Big City Engine, or at least update the one that I already made, because my original Big City Engine custom is shit. So, this face will definitely come in handy for my updated version. Aside from that, really not much to say. It is in pretty rough shape. Like, the cab is in pretty rough shape, and almost all the paint is gone on the chassis. Kind of looking like a Thomas Wood item. Yeah, it has these really big driving wheels, which is really interesting, I guess. I am definitely going to use the face of this item for a Trackmaster custom. On to the last item of the day. Alright, so the last item for today is a really cool item. At least in my opinion, I think it's pretty cool because it's such like a weird Trackmaster item. It is the Trackmaster 2 Globe Thomas. Okay, so for those who don't know what this was a Thomas that was exclusive to a 3-pack that came with Nia and Yongbao, and Thomas and Nia came with trucks that I think works in exclusive colors. I can't really remember, but this Thomas was exclusive to that pack. But that pack was also exclusive only to Amazon, meaning basically you can only get this item in a big 3-pack with 2 other engines you probably already have. And it was only sold on Amazon, which made it even harder to get. I got this item from a thrift store, which I am really happy about because I don't have this version of Thomas. It is a brand new item for my collection. Definitely the highlight of all the items that I got. Side rods are in pretty bad shape, bent and kind of scuffed up. The coupling is just like, look at that. Like, bro, whose kid chewed on this shit? Like, what? So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to replace the side rods and the back coupling, but honestly, you know, I really don't mind because I am very happy to have this item in my collection finally because it is, I wouldn't say a rare item, but it's pretty uncommon. I'm pretty excited to finally have Globe Thomas in my collection. Alright, so that was all of the items that I got for this Thomas thrift store haul video, I guess you could say. Let me know in the comments what was your favorite item that we took a look at today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.